they see their police.
I will solve it. Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Perseverance Maremeni, also known as Madam Speaker. Today we're having a special edition called Ask a Divorcee. And I have a good friend of mine, Nathaniel Motwa. He's also a divorcee. So we are birds of the same feathers, we're flocking together. So today we're just going to be answering a lot of questions because we posted a video on TikTok saying that if you have questions that you would like to ask a divorcee so that you never have to end up like us, or so that when you get married, you know, you don't get divorced, or when you are married, you stay married. Maybe if we can just give you tips, because we are not jealous. We want people to be married, stay married. So if maybe we can give you tips, guys, you can save your marriages, because really, we don't need more divorces, okay? We don't need more divorce cases. So my friend?
Yes, Percy. Guys, like she said, we posted the video yesterday. The response has been overwhelming. There are so many comments here. We can't go through all of them. Okay, guys, we can't go through all of them right now, but we'll be picking and choosing as we go along, and we'll try and ask and answer as many as we can. The first question is from Snare, the vocalist, and he asked, Madam Speaker, do you ever think of the trauma your kids have to endure because of the disruption of a bond that they once had with both their parents?
Yeah, so I even pinned that question.
Sure.
I pinned it because I felt like it was very, very important, because a lot of people stay in broken marriages because they're doing it for the kids. And I even said to my friend here, Nathaniel, earlier on, I was like, listen, I would like to have another special edition video where kids who are coming from divorced couples can actually give testimonials to say whether the divorce was beneficial for them, or just the outcome of coming from a home where the mom and the dad divorced. Because in my opinion, I believe that when you leave a toxic relationship, you are doing it for the kids, right? So in as much as it's hard, it's painful and everything in between, at the end of the day, you are trying to protect your kids from an environment which is not healthy for them. You're trying to protect your kids from growing up to be these monsters, you know, because believe you me, every person who's a bad person per se is like that because their upbringing contributed to them being the person that they are, you know. Some of the things that kids do or adults do are a result of the traumas that they went through as kids. Right? So for me, as a child, and you are like, my kids, I feel like for my kids would have been exposed to toxicity more if I stayed married, you know, because in the last days of my marriage, I used to be so depressed to a point where I was in the bathtub or I was in the shower and I was just sitting, friend, and the water was just, you know, and my kids would come and they would stand by the door and they say, Mama, get up. Mama, Mama, are you sick? You know, they would come and check on me from time to time.
Is that not trauma for your kids?
That is trauma for my kids, you know. So I felt like, you know what, if I keep on doing what I'm doing, if I keep on enduring in this situation, then I'm actually destroying my kids instead of me protecting them. Because we know the notion that when you stay married, you're doing it for the kids because the kids deserve to have a stable home where there's a mom and a dad. But what is the use of having a mom and a dad when it's a toxic environment? When the kids see you broken, when the kids see you destroyed all the time, then you're no longer doing it for the kids, then you're doing it for your own selfish. I always say that.
Are you still mom and dad when there's no love going from the mother to the father, then to the kids? Are you still mom and dad?
When you can.
Yeah, when you're already loving the kids as individuals and not as mom and dad.
You know.
So what's the point?
You know, because...
Sorry, friend. The other thing I wanted to say is, remember, guys, your kids will grow up, you know. They are kids now, but do what you have to do. Do what's best now for yourself and for them, of course. Because your happiness and your welfare directly flows back right to them, yabo? So do that. They will grow up, and once they are grown, they are adults, they are individuals, they're going to look back and they're going to understand. You understand? They won't be kids forever. So do what's best, yabo? If what's best is staying, then stay. Then they'll grow up and they'll understand why you stayed where you shouldn't have stayed, yabo? If what's best is to leave, then leave. They'll grow up, they'll understand why you left.
So maybe because the guy, what's his name there?
Snare.
Maybe because Snare is not here with us. I wish he was here. That's why I'm saying I'm going to do a special edition where I'm just going to be asking people, adults who are coming from a divorce background, like when your mom and your dad divorced, so that you can tell us to say, how was it? Obviously, it must have been painful, you know, to see your parents separating, but were you in a happier place after the parents had separated, or was it better when the parents were together? Because there's a lot of people who always say that, Mina, if my mom had asked me, I would have told her, leave this man, because the relationship was just too toxic. And sometimes you can even get angry at your mom to say, why did you have to tolerate this nonsense for so long? Because it affected us. Now it's even affecting our relationships, because your kids do what you do. You actually influence them, because subconsciously your kids are going to turn out to be like you.
Sure.
So if you tolerate certain things, if you tolerate abuse of any sort, then you are saying to your kids, it's okay to tolerate abuse, it's okay to just be J. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're doing it for the kids when you stay, but is it benefiting the kids in the long run? Because the kids are very fragile emotionally. I know that we never take it seriously. We always think that she's not seeing or he's not seeing
but
anything.
They pick up on these things. They can
do.
see.
Like, take an example with yourself. The things which you are thinking about right now, which are your childhood traumas, were they not happening when your parents thought you were not even aware? When your parents thought you were not even seeing anything? You understand that?
Very true.
So I don't know, friend.
No, I'm covered. My kid is still very, very small. Like he's like this big. That guy is big. So I know emotionally, to an extent, he was affected by all of this, but not to the extent where I could sit down with him and talk with him at this point, but he'll grow up and we'll have that talk.
Yeah, because I feel like my kids are happier now.
Yeah.
Because they have they have a happy mom, they have a happy dad.
Correct.
So when they're with me, I'm not frustrated. I'm always happy with them. When they're with their dad, they're happy. So that's it. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Okay, the next question is from Tapelom Tembu, and he says, this is a fun question actually. He says, why Lilo more beautiful after divorce? Friend, are you more beautiful?
I am.
Now I am.
Now I'm very good.
Now I am.
Yeah, but
I used to look 45, guys. Now I look 42.
Minus 3 years.
Minus 3 years. I was with it.
Yeah.
Well, personally, for people who know me personally, why I look different now is now I can wear what I want to wear and do what I want to do with my body. That's why, I won't even be patient and say, no, it's because I'm happier now. Yeah, fine. I can say I'm happier now, but I live here and something happens, then I'm sad. Then I stop being beautiful. No. I look better because now I can do me, now I can leave the house and not have someone say, you can't wear that.
So I'm sorry, maybe me asking this, you can answer, you can not answer if you don't want.
Sure.
Do you mean, when you say that now you can wear whatever you want, what are you implying about when you were married?
When I was married, I could never have certain haircuts. I could never wear a jean to work, for instance. I didn't have any jeans. I had like one pair of jeans. And it was a bogart. In fact, not even a jean, it was a bogart. I had a bogart, guys. I don't wear that shit anymore, So for me it's that because, and it's not even I don't feel like it's something specific to my ex. I feel like it's the notion that people come with to say, now that you are serious, now that you are someone's wife, you can't dress this way. Now that you're someone's husband, you have to look like the head of a household. And you guys, then I look like a school principal. Why am I paid?
So for me personally, I feel like the glow that comes after divorce is because I neglected myself so much when I was married, because I had to put family first. So many decisions that I've made, one of them being me rejecting job offers which are away from the city or the town where I was staying in, simply because if I leave, then I'm leaving my family behind. So I did so many things and I made so many decisions which were selfless, which for me, I always thought that they were for the benefit of the family. So I would end up doing things like when I go to the shop, friend, and I have to buy, I go there with the aim of buying myself a nice t-shirt and a pair of jeans. When I get there, I find things to buy for my kids and for my ex, So I'd end up buying for them instead of buying for myself. So when I started with the whole divorce process, I realized that, I have been alive, but I've just been a passenger in my own life because I've not been loving myself enough. So I decided that I'm going to put more effort on loving myself, and whatever that I want, whatever that my heart wants, I'm going to do it and I'm going to get it. And I'm not going to put anybody else before me. Because as a Christian woman, because I grew up in a Christian background, Proverbs 31, I hate that verse. But anyway, I grew up to be a woman that would always put everybody before me. Like literally, friend, you are first and I'm last, So that is the reason why I was not glowing. Guys, if I had to go buy a weave, but then I need to buy 10 pallets of bricks or whatever. Do bricks come in pallets?
They do come in pallets.
If I had to buy 10 pallets of bricks, guys, I would rather buy the bricks instead of me buying a new weave. You understand?
Yeah.
So the glow that comes from divorce, it comes from you understanding yourself as a person to say, listen, I understand myself more now. I know that I compromised so much and it was not worth it. I know better now. I'm learning that right now I matter. I'm as important as the next person. Yeah. So the glow that just comes with that. And also because, you know, if marriage is no longer good, you know, it's stressful, it's frustrating, it's just dragging, you know. You don't have time to actually look at yourself and you're like, damn, listen, you know, you're the thing. You know, you don't have time for all of that. So when you are done with that, all of a sudden you see the need, you start valuing yourself more because now for me, I feel like, friend, I escaped death.
I also feel the same.
So I appreciate life more now because I can't believe I made it. It's more like when you get into a car accident. When you survive, after the car accident, you really want to just, you know, live your best life. So that is me.
Yes. Can I read a comment here from Ndlovukazi just to close this part? I think we'll both agree with her. She says, partners also influence dress codes and impose their insecurities on us within relationships. Yeah. So
let me just, on a side note, just on that, to add on to that, Mina, my ex used to love Cavellas a lot when I met him. And I used to hate Cavella. And every time when he's wearing it, I'll be like, Yeah. So he stopped wearing that. I'm not sure if he's still wearing that now. But when we were married, he was not wearing that anymore. You know? So, yeah.
Okay. Pindile asked, this is an interesting one also. She said, life after divorce, how do you know it's the right time to start dating again? And how long does it take for one to start dating after divorce?
Yo. Guys, Mina, I started dating while I was busy with the divorce proceedings. I'm not even gonna lie. You know, why must I lie? I'm not a liar. Ne? Mina, I started dating while I was still busy with the divorce proceedings simply because, and this story for me, it's not a new story. I always share this to say that technically my marriage ended in 2019 already, you know. So me and my ex, we were just two people who were living in one house. We're like literally brother and sister in the same house, you know. So we had a discussion briefly, but obviously from his side, it would never be a positive one to say, listen, because me and you, we are no longer feeling each other anymore. Let's see other people. Yeah. Obviously, I would never get a positive response from him, but I knew that he was seeing other people. Even when he exited, he was seeing other people, you know. So while we're busy with the divorce proceedings, he was seeing other people, and I was seeing other people as well. Because I felt like, you know what, hey, bo, guys, there's no, hey, anyway, are you answered, ne?
Because, guys, you must remember that we are not happy today, then tomorrow we are divorced.
Yeah, it's a process.
There's pre-divorce actually. There's a pre-divorce phase. So for me, to answer you, or to answer Pindile, for me, I would say no two divorce stories are the same. So the right time for me won't be right time for you. So there's no time frame that you can give out. But what happened with me is I did date a few months after the separation, and it was smooth. I had no issues, none whatsoever. But then 2 years down the line, I date and now I have issues. I look at myself, I'm like, oh, okay, no, I think I'm not ready to date. So it's
not a one size fits all, really.
Exactly. But because we both understand, Pindile, what is it that's really stopping you and making you be fearful? All we can say to that is time will heal you. Time will heal those fears. Time will heal those insecurities. And you will sharp.
There's not a one pill. There's no one pill that we take to heal from divorce and then we're ready to date.
Yes.
You know. So next question. We are on a roll, guys. I hope you are happy with what is happening here.
And I hope you can hear us clearly.
I hope you can hear us clearly. Okay.
What is the worst part of marriage? And is premarital counseling important?
Mina, can I be honest?
That was from Kebza.
Mina, honestly speaking, we never did that premarital counseling thing because my ex was never. Usually counseling we associate it with church, ne?
Yeah.
So church-wise, we never did that, and I only saw when I was going through the process of divorce that I should have actually started with premarital counseling, even if it's not a church thing, even if it's just from a professional. But we never did any of that. We cut all of that. You know what we used in the place of that? Love. We thought love was just enough, guys. We thought we'll just get by because we love each other. We thought love is a solution, is a one pill remedy to everything. We didn't need counseling. We didn't need advice. We needed nothing. We just needed to get married and just live happily ever after. So, I never did counseling on my side. When did you do?
We did counseling, Tina. It was useless. I'm sorry, counselor, if you're watching. It was useless.
From church?
Yeah.
But those ones are not professionals. I don't even know why they're sitting there.
They're not even counseling.
No, we're not hating on the church, but you counselors at the church, you're not even professionals. Please hire people who are professional.
They are
to do
pushing
that
a
job.
mandate.
Yeah.
But do go for premedical counseling.
From
eh?
professionals.
From professionals,
Yes.
number one.
Yeah.
And then this is what you must look out for. This is what the counseling must do for you. The counseling must do just one thing. It must be deep enough to pick up sensitive issues between the two of you. That's the first thing. Then it must put them on the table so that they are discussed now before they happen. Because once they happen, there are emotions involved.
Yeah.
For instance, how are we going to deal with what I used to do with my salary? Because 80%, it's an example, 80% of my salary goes to my mom, for instance. Yobo? Now you are coming on. Before you even come, we should have sat down with the counselor who was going to then advise, yobo, so that we can speak about money now.
So that we don't have to fight about money when we marry.
Yeah, because if we speak about it after I've given 80% of my salary to my mom, it's not going. Yeah, it's not going to end.
It's a fight.
It's not going to end.
So premarital counseling is very, very important, guys.
What's the worst part of marriage? That's the first part of the question. What's the worst part of marriage?
The worst part. Should I go or you wanna go first? Please?
I want to go first.
Please go first. Shame. Sorry, Chomine. The worst part about marriage, guys.
The worst part about marriage, guys, is you go out, you find someone, you are thinking, you are making your lives to become one thing, only to find out the other party is with a different agenda. That's the worst part. The worst part about marriage is learning who your partner really is. They're like discovering them. For
who they really are.
Let me tell you something. Let me change your life right now. If you are married, the only person who truly knows you is your spouse. This is why even when you are naked, you can still have both your parents living. But as an adult, your mom can't see you naked. If Atzaina, you're going to cover up, but you'll never cover up for your partner. Because your partner is the only person who really my ex is the only person who really knows me, because you know, and I feel like I'm the only person who really knows her, because
so even when you tell people what you've been through,
yes,
it's not everybody, they won't get it.
They won't get
because it's a second-hand information.
Yes,
they didn't see experience first,
and they will never. I used to say this a lot during the counseling we used to have when things were in a rough patch. I used to say to people who are trying to mediate, I'm like, you know, the position I'm in, you can't see it unless I step out and you become the husband.
Yeah.
I kept telling her, I said, you can't see it. You can't see it as a counselor. You can't see it as a parent. You can't see it as my mom. You have to come and stand where I'm sitting and where I'm standing now. Then we don't want to give one now.
Yeah, that's the worst.
That's the worst.
That's the worst for you.
Yeah, what's the worst for you?
Yo, guys, the worst for me is feeling like there's no way out. Feeling like there's no way out, you know, because as a Christian girl, I get married not to get divorced. So when I'm in there, I try to exhaust all my options because I feel like there's no way out. I feel like I can't allow myself to get out. I feel like I need to make it work no matter what. So that feeling of being in a confined space, a space where I can't get out, that is scary. That is the worst thing for me. The worst thing about marriage for me is feeling trapped. It's feeling like there is no way out. Feeling like, you know what, this thing which I thought was the love of my life, or this thing which I thought that was forever for me, is gonna kill me, and there's no way out. That is the worst for me.
The Queen 5021 says, do you think you could have done things differently, or did you do all that you could to keep it together?
I'm actually gonna, there's another question that is very much similar to that, which I saw in the morning when I was going through the comments, which says that if you were given a second chance to make things right, do you think the marriage would have ever stood a chance if things were done differently? Do you understand what I mean? So I think it's very much
similar.
Yeah, it's very much similar. So Mina, in my honest opinion, Shem friend, if I had to do it all over again, or if I had to now be proposed to for marriage from where I'm sitting and all the information and all the experience and all the knowledge that I have now, I never would have gotten married to that guy. Never. So Mina, my answer is straight up simple. I don't think there could ever be a second chance. I don't think there could ever be, making things work. I don't think there's something that should have been done differently for my marriage to have worked. I think I never should have gotten married to this guy. And trust me, he's not a bad guy. He's not a terrible guy. I always say this to you, friend, that my ex-husband has a beautiful heart. He's a kind guy. He's loved by everyone. Yeah. But if I had a chance to go back, I never would have gotten married to the same guy. Never.
Do you feel you done all that you could have done to save the marriage?
I feel like I did everything that I could, and I always say that my conscience is clear because according to my knowledge and my ability, what I did to fight for my marriage, I did my best.
Yeah.
But besides me doing my best, the best thing that I ever did was me accepting the fact that it's never gonna change. This is who this person is, and this is who I am. And me getting married to this person was the biggest mistake of my life.
Yeah. Guys, there's something else you should know, ne? It takes two people to get married, even legally. It takes two. But it takes one to end a marriage. It doesn't take two people. Yes, both parties will have their faults that they contributed to the dissolving of the marriage. That's true. But for a marriage to end, only one person must just say, I want out. Even legally, you can get divorced, even though the other party is like, I don't want to get divorced. You'll get divorced still. They allow you.
Yeah.
But you can't get married if the other party says, I don't want to get married.
Yeah.
So, Nami, I also feel I did everything I could have done. And what's funny is I even feel that even my ex did everything.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. I wanted to say the same thing.
Yeah,
that I feel like
they also did everything.
If you ask your ex, she would say, I did my best.
Yeah.
My ex would also say, he did his best.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, next question.
Oh, this is a nice one. I saw this one last night. I love this one. From Celebration RSA says, is divorce party ayoba mar? Yeah? Can you encourage a new divorcee to throw a party? And then she says, explain your answer.
Absolutely. I would advise you to throw a divorce party. I couldn't throw a divorce party because I didn't have the money, but if I had the money, I would throw a divorce party. When I remember the day of my divorce, I was looking beautiful, and I was looking the way that I did. I feel like I was looking even more beautiful than I did on my wedding day.
Yeah.
Because in as much as a marriage, a wedding is a beautiful thing to be celebrated, there is something that we're celebrating there.
Yeah.
There's life that we're celebrating there. And the kids that we're having in the marriage
Sure.
are part of what we're celebrating beforehand, right?
Sure.
So when I get divorced, there are beautiful things which are going to be happening in my life after that. So every beautiful thing in my life, regardless of whether it looks beautiful to the next person or not, it should be celebrated.
Sure.
So if I had the money, I was going to have a divorce party, Mr. Party here.
Yeah. Nami, guys, now I've been in stages. There were times where I really wanted it, then I didn't want it, then I wanted it, then I didn't want it. So for now, let's have another invite, guys.
Sure.
Yeah, let's have another invite.
Sure.
What are the things you can do better should you get married again? I feel like in general we have touched on it, but now it's nice and specific.
It's nice and specific and straight to the point.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
I can go first. Nah, take time to know her. Take time to know him. Me, I'll do that. Me, I'll take like 5 years. I'll take like 5 years. I'll take my time knowing my partner before I get married. That's what I'll do first this time.
Mina, can I tell you what I will do?
Yeah.
I will not give people room for the benefit of the doubt.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mina, the only thing that I will do, guys, is if whatever that I want it exactly the way it is. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm not giving anybody's son room to grow on, or anybody's daughter. You'll never know.
Yeah.
I'm not giving.
Plus,
friend, this is serious business.
So,
To me. Yo. Guys, don't mind him. We are still on the divorce. I'm saying that, Nane, I would not give people room for benefit of the doubt. Whatever you show me in the beginning, I will take it as it is. Because the mistake that I made is that I took a guy with whatever he was showing me, and I was like, okay, but there's potential here, with all his flaws and everything. I'm not saying I'm gonna date a perfect person, but the things which are like the most important things to me, I'm gonna take them as they are in the beginning. I'm not gonna sweep anything under the carpet and say, I know, but then this one, there's still room for growth, there's still room, potential. Axa data potential. I'm never gonna get married to potential. I'm gonna get married to a guy who has everything that I want.
Yeah.
Sure.
Shongwe, the challenge with red flags, my guy, is you want to strike a balance between spotting out red flags and knowing what to do with them. At the same time, you come with the notion of, but no one is perfect.
Yeah,
You understand?
yeah.
So it's very confusing. And for that time, I don't have an answer. Me, I don't. I don't know if you should push the mandate of saying no one's perfect, like Percy says she used to do, or you should say, hey, that's a red flag, then you turn. Then
Yeah.
if you do that, then ojolalama, onyalama. You see?
Yeah.
This one, I'm going to be very judgmental on you, Snera, and I apologize. Snera asked, things to work on to avoid thoughts of divorce after every big fight. If you are thinking
about
of
it,
divorce after every big fight, then
you know. You know. You
we
already
can,
know.
we can make space here, you know. We can make space here. So I think if you are thinking about it every time, we don't want you to get divorced, but it's only you who knows what you are in and what you're
Why
going
would you
through.
always think about it?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, especially when what's her name?
Snera, if I'm
When a
saying it
snera,
right.
if you are a Christian, ne, every divorce thought that comes when you fight, you will think it's the devil.
Yeah.
And the devil shame is mising somewhere, is not even minding your business. The devil is doing his own thing there. And when you think it's the devil, so that is why you will always try to avoid that thought. But in all honesty, you can't think of divorce when you see that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
If you're always gonna think about it when you fight, then there's something. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. So there's nothing you can do to stop thinking about it when you see that the end of the road is here. I'm just not ready to accept it.
Eish, okay, this is an interesting one. Mafiki says we've been divorced for 5 years. Ne? He remarried, but why does he still hate me so much? Then she says, Haibo, Pella, it was a mutual agreement to get a divorce because it wasn't working. Why do you think an ex would keep hating their ex even though that said ex had supposedly moved on?
You know what, Fred? I think for me to hate on my ex after we have divorced and we have moved on and we have found our own people would mean that I'm not over him. Yeah, it would mean that I'm not over him. And I always say that jokingly that we are automatically when you get divorced or when you break up with somebody, you are a witch. Because when something goes wrong with your partner or your ex, you rejoice. It's like, yeah, Mjolo wa Munyisa. You know, you get happy over those things. Like everybody who's here, you know that if you had an ex who really hurt you, and Mjolo wa Banyisa, you are happy to know that Mjolo wa Banyisa because they're getting a taste of their own medicine, right? Yeah. But after 5 years and you have moved on with your life, you can't hate on somebody for that. Yeah. But I think a lot of guys, friend, possessive of women in a sense that they think that they own a woman, even after having kids with a woman. So even when they break up with them, they still want to go back to have sex, or they still want to own that woman because that was their wife, right? So I think for that woman to actually move on with their lives and find somebody else, for a lot of guys, it's not an acceptable thing.
Yes.
Am I like?
The sense of ownership is still there.
Yes, the sense of ownership is still there.
It's still there.
So at the end of the day, you end up hating on that woman if things are going well for her and she's getting married. But if you have accepted and you have made peace with the fact that you tried all your best and you guys are just never gonna work, then you can be okay with your ex.
And also remember, guys, even for relationships, we don't break up because we stopped loving each other. You know, people break up while they are still in love with each other, or maybe the one party is still in love. Even with divorce, it's the same. So you might find, yes, he agreed to divorce and you are divorced, but he's still in love with you.
Yeah,
it's possible.
So he can't stand seeing you with somebody else.
Divani Stalker says, what were the signs you ignored while dating that contributed to the divorce? So is there something that was a sign while you were still dating, and then now as you get divorced because of that thing, you remember that you saw it right at the start?
Yeah, it's just that I feel like this story from my side, it's tired.
Okay, because
it's tired because I've been speaking about the causes of my divorce, and all the things that I've been speaking about are the things which I saw in the beginning, but I thought, no, we can work around this. This is small waters. It's something that we can, fix. It's something that is not permanent. Sorry. For me, signs that were there right at the beginning that I totally ignored because of what Percy said earlier on. You give someone a benefit of the doubt. I remember there was a time where she hung up the phone on me. We were not even married. We were preparing for the wedding. And the pain I felt, because I realized the kind of life I was living back then. Even now, I've never had anyone hang up on me. I've never had anyone anthropomorph. It has never happened. And she hung up on me. And I was like, hey, what's happening? Then there was a time where we actually went out
And we didn't even have a fight. We were having a talk, kamukoloing. And while we were having a talk, kamukoloing, then we didn't have the same idea of, let's say maybe ka cake, for instance. Then I'm like, no, can we have the cake in front of us? Then she's like, no, the cake must be behind us or on the side. Then all I said was, no, justify, make me understand, like convince me. Not for that thing. She decided she's going to keep quiet. She was quiet for the whole day. And at first I'm like, not serious, like what did I play this? And she just kept quiet for the entire trip. And we had so many errands to run. And that for me was a huge red flag, because I'm like, no one does this to me. Like, not that I'm important or because I'm what, but the way that I am humble and the way that I relate with other people, I make sure I treat people with so much respect. I don't deserve this. I didn't do anything to deserve this. That was a red flag that I totally ignored. And right at the end, when now things couldn't come together to happen, then I realized I'm only, because I even said it. I would even say it in the meetings to say, guys, all these things that I'm complaining about, they didn't start now. They didn't start now.
They were always there.
They were always there, and I just overlooked them, and I was hopeful.
Like as long as I love her.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So that's what happens.
Business. Tinzolo says, so a comment here meaning that if you get married after a year of dating, you with your partner, you will divorce. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. People have been meeting and getting married within the first week, first month, first year for the longest time, and they are not divorced. Guys, there are so many moving parts in marriages, and there are so many moving parts in divorces. There is no pattern. There really isn't. There's nothing relatively unique about my story or her story or our story combined. You understand? The next story, the next divorce story we're going to hear is going to sound completely different. They are not wrong. We are not wrong. They are not right. It's just my story. It's her story. So there's absolutely no way of saying no, it was time. Because some people can blame age if maybe you married someone who's like 20 years older than you. But then there are other couples who have just been together forever, and the age difference is that big. So there are no...
I don't know. Sorry. Are you done?
I was done actually.
I don't know if maybe this is... or you've already touched on this, because this one is asking, cute Mrs. K is saying, as a man, what is your biggest regret with your marriage? We covered that.
I don't think we did.
Okay.
As a man, what I'm saying now, it's new thing. I think once we are done with Russia and Ukraine and COVID, men will come and we'll start to talk about this. Society is very unfair on men. I'm speaking as a man now, ne? For men also. Men, you can tell me where to fuck off, because you are land wrong. But society and also our own not, I don't want to say government, but Home Affairs,
yeah, I could say.
Yeah, those institutions, they are so unfair on men, because you get where I'm going. You approach these institutions thinking that you're going to be treated as fairly as individuals. Then you realize very quickly that everywhere you go already there are things that they've already assigned to be the man's fault, and there are things that they have assigned to be the woman's fault. You understand? So I think what's the question, so I can close by...
I've already left.
It was, what's the worst thing for a man about being married or about being divorced?
Regrets. The biggest regrets.
The marriage, ne?
Yes.
Yeah. So the biggest regret is, even though we are living at a time where women are being pushed to do it for themselves, there are people all the time pushing them, do it for yourself. Then when they come into marriages, then they look at you. Then all the pressure is on you to do it for them. And when it fails, as a man, when it fails, you live with this. And it's absolutely okay, because you are the man. You understand? I would even tell you, Gary, what hurts me is I would come across people that know me personally, and I'll tell them that no, I'm no longer with my wife, and they'll be like, what did you do? I'm like, what do you mean? What do you think I did? You understand?
So it's just automatically, it's like you're already the culprit without even understanding what you did.
Without people knowing the story. You understand? So because of such reasons, I imagine is the reason why even when it comes to the divorce, you're going to get the short end of the stick as the man. You're going to be the one who's broke, wearing pep clothes.
But it's not a one size fits all. Ne?
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Because I'm sitting here, my friend, I'm houseless, I'm carless, I'm everything less, and I'm a woman.
You see?
Yeah, I'm the one who lost in my marriage.
You lost the most.
He lost.
Yeah.
But my case is a very special case because in most cases, okay, I don't think it's that special, friend, because I think a lot of women sit on these things. A lot of women lose in marriages, especially because now women are working for themselves, women are established. But I think a lot of women don't want to speak about it openly, so it's just this thing a norm. Yeah, men are the ones who are losing a lot. But I know a lot of women who lost like me. Can I take the next one?
Yes, please.
Because that one was directed to you, ne?
Yeah.
This one is very, very important, friend. We've spoken about this so many times, and I'm hoping now the people will get to hear the discussion that we had about this one. It says, it's Dobani Stoko. How did you directly contribute to your divorce? Jay! This is you now taking accountability for your part.
Dobani, ho end the life or end the life,
Yeah. Now we are convicted now. Our part, our contribution towards the failure.
What did I do wrong?
What did you do wrong?
Yeah. Like she's saying, we've had this question numerous times. And to be honest with you, every time I answer, my answer changes, but it goes more and more and more towards the truth. Firstly, I used to say what I did wrong in my marriage is my expectations were way too high for my wife.
Right.
They were way too high. Right. I expected her to come in and be quiet. I really did. Yeah. I expected her to come in and be a passenger, and I was going to have the time of my life taking pride in leading this family. I didn't expect to share power. I didn't expect to share power.
You expected her to be part of the furniture.
Yes, I expected her to be part of the furniture and not be a human being with aspirations and plans. I expected her to just come and ask me, what are we doing in this marriage? And when I didn't get that, I got thrown back. You understand? I'm not saying that's why I divorced, but I got thrown back. So the first contribution that I made was my own unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
But the second one that is always difficult to accept is I was not willing to forgive.
Yeah.
So when we fought about what we fought about, and I don't want to get into details about the fights. Yeah. But every time she would apologize in front of pastors and my parents and her parents, I would always refuse to forgive. Yeah. So that refusal to forgive is actually what led to the actual axing of the marriage. Me saying, I'm not forgiving you. Yeah.
Even though you don't say it openly, ne?
Even though
I don't in your heart, you would always feel like, you know what, I don't want to forgive this person.
Yeah. So I know that should I have said, okay, it's cool, I forgive you, let's try again. Yeah. We would have continued. I don't know where it would be now, but we would have continued.
Had you forgiven more?
But I'm happy I didn't forgive.
Okay, so on my side, my contributions towards the failure of my marriage, gosh, guys, Mina shame, I contributed. Yes, I contributed to the failure of my marriage.
Sure.
Like nobody's business. Where do I even start? Yo.
Right at the beginning.
Guys, Mina, I'm one person. I want answers. Let me start there. I used to frustrate that man. That man used to be so frustrated with me because when I ask questions, I want answers. And that guy, you see the way that he doesn't have the answers. Poor guy doesn't have answers to give me.
And you're demanding them.
I demand answers. I mean, the one thing that I used to frustrate my ex with is that I want answers. And I will not rest until you give me an answer. You know, in a sense that, for example, if you spend money recklessly, I want to know why.
Sure.
And maybe when you just got a hit of it the moment, see, when you were passing there, you saw a nice sneaker, you bought it, you decided not to buy electricity, you were not even thinking about it.
Sure.
So, Mina, my problem is that I want to get inside your head. And I want to understand, Huri, what is wrong with this head? Yeah. Why is it that you couldn't just think the way that I think? Like, can't you think like me? Can't you think like other people? It used to bother me a lot to say this guy. I used to think that he doesn't think.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have answers for me.
Sure.
So when he doesn't have answers for me, I started belittling him. Yeah. Friend, shame that guy, I said this even yesterday, that when I look at him and I look at my son, I don't see the difference. I don't see the difference between my ex and my son. To me, in my eyes, they're the same age, because I just belittled him to a point where I felt like he was nothing. But then when he's out there, when we're out there together as a husband and wife, you know, this is the husband of my youth. we are perfect together. But when we get into the house, I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy, like literally. And I feel like also on his side, he got to a point where he was so relaxed that he didn't have to do anything. He didn't have to apply any mind on anything because I was there. You know, then he was like, oh, when you know these things, when you know these things. So literally, this guy, even now when I look at him, I just see a small ball. And I feel like me belittling him, I belittled him to a point where even when I was starting to fall out of love, like guys, I always say this, my ex-husband is very handsome, ne? But when I see him, that's how much I don't like that guy. That's how much he annoys and irritates and makes me sick. He still does make me sick even now, but now I have to face him, you know, because the divorce is over and everything. I don't hate him anymore. I used to hate him. I don't hate him anymore, but I still belittle him even when I see him. I don't see him as a man of the house. I don't see him as a man who deserves me to just, you know, because I feel like he took me and he gave me his mother's position. I felt like I was more of his mother than his wife, you know. So if I'm treating you like my son, how are you gonna now be a husband to me? So my contribution, the biggest one of them all, was just me taking my husband and reducing him to be just nothing. Here's a question. This is a good one. I was looking for this actually. It says that it's from S Mapanga. Ne?
Okay.
Do you think a person who had a failed marriage can do better on the next one?
They are going to do 1 billion times better. They're going to do 1 billion times better. Imagine if you were to write an exam today, you fail it because you didn't study. You must write it again next week. The exact same question paper. Of course, no two people are the same, but going back into marriage, you are going to do 1 billion times better. Now, here's the catch. Even if you did shit in the first marriage and you are a shitty human being, in your next marriage, you'll know how to do shit 1 billion times better. So for when you'll just be doing better. Am I making sense?
Yeah, you are making sense. But my answer is different to yours.
Yes.
Yeah. My answer is that there's no guarantee. In your next marriage, you can fail dismally. You can fall into the hands of a person who's far worse than your ex, a person who has the potential to destroy you more than the previous one.
Yeah.
If you have not learned anything, if you have not given yourself a chance to actually learn and sit down and do a corrective action on your previous marriage. Because a lot of people, especially if you got divorced and you didn't want to get divorced, right? If you got divorced and you still wanted to get married, you may want to get married again just to prove that you are marriage material and you're capable of making a marriage work, meaning that you are still going in without learning anything. You're still going in with the wrong, you know, mindset, and then you end up with a far worse person than your ex. Then you get divorced again. Yeah.
As a rule of thumb, and I got this from my mom. My mom said, widows must get with widowers. Divorced people must get with divorced people.
Amen.
It makes sense like that. Yeah.
So divorced people,
one side. Yeah. So on that note, guys, it's been a fantastic hour.
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We'll meet on the next one. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye, guys.
Love you all.
Love you all.